All of which brings back memories of the years before 1957 when this I'm scared to death.
Add that to the list of assignments I won't be taking on. That is likely Dick Evans' most remembered story here at Wood TV when he climbed to the top of the Mackinac Bridge in 1976.
That's okay, Leon. I'll take that assignment.
Go for it.
15 years later, he attempted to make the same climb. As part of our 70th anniversary celebration, we are going back on the Michigan road.
Here's Dick Evans' trip to the bridge in 1991.
On a bad day, 2,500 vehicles will cross the bridge. A busy day may see as many as 36,000. The Big Mac has been a boon to Michigan since it opened over 30 years ago. There are some who still have fond recollections of the long waits for the car ferries that preceded the bridge. It took 55 minutes to make the crossing. I started out with photographer Dan Salas for another go at the top. A quiet day, little traffic, slight breeze. The first obstacle was that tiny door we've all seen while crossing. Head first wasn't about to work, but with effort, a limited time, I made it past the first.
Do we have any more of these to go through? How many of these are there?
But to get up there, there are over a half dozen more of the portholes. Now, major problem. There was a big round steel obstacle just inside the next, and that defeated me.
Boy, I shouldn't have had that breakfast today. No, no, it's not going to work.
So much for that idea. Now, on to plan B.
Well, we came to the Mackinac Bridge with every intention of going to the top. But somehow the hole got smaller from the last time I was here. At least I think that was the problem.
Dan, with our guide Jim, continued camera rolling. You can see there is one challenge after another. And to cap it off, the trip up the ice-cold steel vertical ladder. Better not to look where you were.
Climb up.
But from the top, what a magnificent view.
We've been closed about 18 or 20 times, and we've been in operation now for 33 and a half years. So on the average, we've been closed about once every other year.
For what?
Well, normally it's a combination of wind and snow where we get zero visibility.
You know, before this bridge was ever constructed, there were those who didn't think it could ever be done. They said it would never stand up to the harsh winters we have here in Michigan. Well, one of the things they found out is it could be done, and it was constructed to withstand the winds. Winds of 600 miles an hour.
Many refuse to drive over that steel grating in the center lane. It scares them. Actually, there is steel grating under that thin paving in the other lane.
The bridge was struck one time by a plane.
That's correct. That occurred in the fog, Dick, back in September of 1978. Apparently, no one will know because all three perished in the crash, but they may have looked back and saw an opening and saw a tower and thought it was the North Tower when in fact it was the South Tower, and then they swung west and flew right into one of the suspender cables there.
Fog also caused a freighter to miss its mark, and it crashed into the base of the North Tower on Memorial Day, 1967. Actually, it struck the concrete base below the water level. Small damage to the bridge, $200,000 to the ship. It still costs $1.50 to cross.
The bonds were sold to make the bridge possible. The bonds have been paid off, and yet we still have to pay to go across. Why?
A lot of the monies that were used for debt service were advanced by the state of Michigan. And the provision, the legislation that provided for those advances also provided that when the bonds were paid off, tolls would continue to be charged until the aggregate amount of the advances had been repaid to the various funds they had come from.
So it'll never be free then?
It certainly is not going to be in my lifetime, and I plan on being around for a while, Dick.
Still isn't free. Tolls now $4 per car.
We invite you to join us tonight at 7 o'clock for a special look back. We will re-air part 2 of the best on the Michigan road for the first time since 1990.
Oh, it's fun to see those stories.
It is.
It really is.